7 encounters in match week 18 of the Ray and Nephew Jamaica Premier League were completed on Sunday, and there were some notable results. None more so than Mount Pleasant's 2-0 victory against a visiting Arnett Gardens at the Draxhall Sports Complex in St. Anne. The victory extended Mount Pleasant's winning run to 9 matches. Well, head coach of Arnett Gardens, Xavier Gilbert, was disappointed but acknowledged the quality of the opposition.
Yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed, of course, and the way we conceded those goals as well. I mean, that's where I'm most disappointed with. We know that we're going to create chances, but against this, tough opposition, those kind of chances you get, you have to find one of them in the back of the net. I thought we got 2 good looks, and we're just unfortunate that we didn't find the back of the net today.
Meanwhile, Mount Pleasant boss Theodore Tapper Whitmore believes that preparation was key.
I think one thing I can say, it wasn't the free-flowing style of Mount Pleasant, but when you can play games like these and come out victorious and keep a clean sheet, then that argues well for us.
All right, well, before we get into what this result means for the table, let's first see the other 4 results. All right, Humber Lion getting that 1-0 win against Chapelton Maroons. We told you about the Mount Pleasant victory. Portmore, 4 goals in that win against Harbourview. Tivoli, a 2-0 win against Don Beholden. What about Waterhouse? And that 3-0 victory against Vare United. All right, let's take a look now at how they have impacted the table. Mount Pleasant at the top of the table on 43 points. Note the number of points that separate them from Arnett Gardens because of that victory. Arnett on 37 points. Montego Bay United in 3rd on 34. Cavalier, having played 17 matches so far, on 31. Then Portmore United and Waterhouse, they round out the top 6. Let's take a look now at the teams in the relegation zone. Humber Lion, having played 18 matches on 14 points. Harbourview, 18 matches on 13 points, but just above them, Don Beholden also just 15 points, and then Racing United on 15 as well. So with us in studio, he's back to review what was a very important game on the JPL calendar, is our in-house football analyst, Leger Williams. Can you tell how excited I am to have you back in studio, Liz? You were missed.
Yeah, and I missed you guys as well. I've been away for a while, but don't think that I've been watching the football. Yeah. I've been keyed in nonetheless, and I'm glad to be here to talk more about it now.
All right, I just want to let the viewers know, and yes, we did miss you. The Mobema Lions match, as we know, is ongoing, and we're going to update them on that score. But Liz, let's just get down to business right away. Would you say that the better team on the night won?
Yeah, I think so. I think throughout the season, obviously, Cavalier having won the Caribbean Cup, being the defending champions of the league, they're the team to beat still. But based on what we've seen, 18 games in the season so far, I think in all phases of play, Mount Pleasant on and off the field, especially on the field, obviously, have been the most impressive team to me. As I said, in all phases of play, they've been pretty dominant, and they showed more of that dominance against Arnett Gardens. And it wasn't a surprise to me, especially when they got this goal, an early goal through Edwards, and that immediately flipped it to a positive game state for them. Yeah. And I think from then, it was always going to be an uphill battle for Arnett Gardens going forward.
And you speak about impressive, and instantly I think about Shaquan Davis. Shaquan is a player, a goalkeeper who has managed to keep 12 clean sheets already this JPL season, and just the maturity as which, he approaches match after match. Listen to him on numerous interviews as well. And, he mentally, he's in the right place, and you're seeing it being depicted in the manner in which he goes about his goalkeeping.
Yeah, I think he's a key member of what is a seemingly impenetrable Mount Pleasant defense, because Shaquan Davis, as I said, how professional he is, that shines through, because he's one of the few Jamaica Premier League players that's a mainstay in the Jamaican squad, the national team squad, and he's showing that week on week why he's in that squad. And when you think about it, Mount Pleasant, Mount Pleasant versus Arnett, the game was billed as the best attack versus the best defense.
Yeah, a lot of hype.
But for my money, Mount Pleasant always had the best defense, even though numerically Arnett had conceded one less goal going into the fixture. Mount Pleasant, as I said, had 11 clean sheets from 17 games. And when you look at their home record, after this game, 9 games played at the Draxal Sports Complex, they have 8 wins, 1 draw, have scored 22 goals and only conceded 1. So I think their quality at home is what has allowed them to build this gap, not only on Arnett, but the rest of the league. I'm not only speaking about on a points level, but they're proving week on week that they are the team to beat. And Shaquan Davis, as you would have mentioned, has been a key part of that, because the role of a goalkeeper is not only just to make some fancy saves and keep out goals. It's also to provide security for your defenders. Your defenders know that they have someone stable behind you, just like how if I'm coming into work and I know that I can perform, I know Ricardo or you or Sir Lance can fill in and do anything that I can do well. So that gives me security. That's what Shaquan Davis would provide for Mount Pleasant. The defenders know that if I make a mistake, Shaquan Davis, he's around there. He'll dig me out of this situation, you know?
Yeah, well, you better come to work and do your work well, because we're not digging you out of any situation. Just putting that out there. But Liz, on a serious note, we also have to talk about Arnett, because when we see Arnett this season, they've been also pretty good, right? But one of the things Xavier Gilbert spoke about was managing his players. And, key players have they've been dealing with injuries as well this season, big misses for them. Do you think that affected the result in any way?
Not necessarily, because I think they have, I would say, enough strength in depth to deal with the situation. For instance, they would have had Fabian Reed out.
Right.
They could put in Shea Smith, who obviously is not a natural 9, but I do like him in central areas. I think he is a very talented player and a player that's capable of scoring goals. I think they've brought in Jeremy Nelson, who is a good fit for Arnett, even though he didn't have the best of games yesterday. So I do think that they have the strength in numbers to deal with any of the issues they've had injury-wise, and they have been rotating the team well. I think the main thing when it keys into Arnett for me would be, I think, their ability to get the better of Mount Pleasant on a psychological basis, because I can see now that over the past couple of years it's becoming a trend where in the most important of games, or the games that seem most important against Mount Pleasant, Arnett tend to come up short. If you think about it, in the 2023 playoffs in the semifinals, it was billed as that was the actual final of the JPL that season. That's how highly anticipated it was. And Mount Pleasant got the better of Arnett over 2 legs. At the end of last season, Arnett visited Mount Pleasant at the Draxal Stadium, and they lost 2-0, just like how they did today. And I think that would have negatively impacted Arnett Gardens going into the playoffs. And I think even though we still have so much of the season to go, and I know that Coach Xavier Gilbert, he himself will say, this is just another game to build up to what we want to achieve. But I think over the course of a season, you have to get those big scalps for your team, especially a young team like Arnett Gardens are, to start believing that they can get the better of those huge experienced teams like Mount Pleasant and Cavalier down the line as well.
Yeah, I want to talk quickly before we wrap the segment, Lige, about Mount Pleasant's depth, which is well documented. Every season their depth is impressive, but specifically on their offensive threats, because Raheem Edwards, who scored yesterday, has scored in 4 consecutive games now. Going into this game, Shaquille Bradford had scored 7 goals in 6 matches going in. Now, if you look at their roster, players like Daniel Green and Kimoni Bailey are normally prolific goal scorers for the Mount Pleasant team. So when we see Bradford and Edwards leading the scoring line at the moment, it just makes your mind boggle at what Mount Pleasant has in their arsenal.
Yeah,
No, I said arsenal, but I didn't mean to give your team a plug.
Yeah, I was waiting on it. I've been away too long for it not to be brought up. But in the case of Mount Pleasant, there's a saying going around, especially in England. They just say, how greedy how greedy are Mount Pleasant to have all of this attacking talent? Because when you speak about it, as I said, Edwards, 8 league goals this season. Bradford, 9 league goals this season. Kimoni Bailey, 9 league goals this season. Then you have a Devontae Campbell, who's one of the best wingers in the league. Then you have a Daniel Green, we know the talent that he has. You have Nicholas Kuku-Nelson coming off of the bench. And then to compound all of that, they have just brought in Siobhan Walsh, who we know as one of the best strikers in the Jamaica Premier League, who has been suffering from an injury at Portmore.
Yeah.
So Mount Pleasant are just a greedy team, but in football, player quality always tells. And if you want to win a league, why not get the best quality if you can do so? So am I going to fight that out? And I'm not only saying this because I'm wearing blue. It's a different shade of blue. I'm not here in support of Mount Pleasant. I'm just saying, if you have the facilities to get the best, why not get the best and be the best?
Yeah.
Just like how SportsMax a few years ago, they said, you know, we want the best. They came for Ligier Williams. And just like that, I am here making the program better alongside you all and all of my lovely colleagues. So just like SportsMax wants to be the best, Mount Pleasant want to be the best. Yeah. And they're going out and getting everything.
I think Ricardo wants to say something.
You know
I can see it in his face.
You know,
I just want to say I think he should tell it all to Mikel Arteta. It would
no,
be a
I
great
was.
speech
Oh my God, Ricardo!
for Arteta.
I was going to say, you know, which team is not the best and does not want to be the best because they had the opportunity to be the best.
They are desperate. They just aren't.
But it's not happening.
You know the craziest.
No, it's okay.
No. We're
out of time.
All of us are out of time.
We're gonna go to break.
We run this show. We run this ship.
We must have an EPL segment coming up. I'll be here.
Let's take a live look at what's happening in the JPL match. Let's see. All right, so Malines and Mube locked 0-0 in that 47th minute. We'll continue to keep you updated.
They're actually in first half stoppage time. So it's not quite half time yet in that one.
Yeah. All right, break time, eh?